Steven, I think they're ready for us. You ready?
Yep.
All right, let's get it. So what's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of We Got Next. I am one of your hosts of the show, Christian Hayes, a.k.a. Shifty, with my boy Steven on Twitter at Steven_Springs. And there's been a lot in the world that's been happening, literally in the world. We'll end up getting into that when we talk about like stocks and cryptocurrency. But to start, we want to end up just diving back into things that we're doing again. So Quick Slants is something that has come back around this year, and Steven is switching up a little bit. So what happened last week in Quick Slants? So what do we have going forward?
Last week, we talked about Penn State football, recruiting. A lot of the rankings had their final rankings today, and there are a lot of Penn State guys in the top 100, 200, whatever. Talked about that last week. And like I mentioned last week, we're going to go week by week up until spring practice kicks off for Penn State, end of March, beginning of April. And then, so this week we'll talk about the world of sports in general, talk about the past NFL weekend, talk about the NBA, the NHL. My Penguins are one of the hottest teams in the league. Currently, I think 2 or 3 points behind first place, Florida right now in the standings for the East. And then next week will be Penn State football. And then we'll just rotate every week until, like I said, April rolls around and we have spring ball. So the non-Penn State episodes will probably be a little bit longer than usual. I like to keep it like 30 minutes, 40 minutes ish, depending on what I'm talking about. So these might be a little bit longer. But I know my loyals don't care, you know, they just like to listen. They like content. So yeah, good times.
So that's something that I also can say. I've told everyone that I honestly don't have to watch college football as much anymore because I'll just listen to Steven. And then when the big games come on, you'll end up hearing more about it. Just like one that you all heard throughout the year was Jahan Dotson, how much Steven ended up talking about. Jahan Dotson.
Not Jihad.
See,
wow, and you said you've been paying
attention.
You said you've been paying attention and you got his name wrong. I've been saying his name for the last 5 months. My man comes on here talking about Jihad. Who the hell is Jihad? Wow, God. My own co-host is not even listening to me. Jeez,
so
bro.
I said all that because Mel Kiper currently has Jahan Dotson in his first round. So that's one big thing. And then you start to see Mel Kiper does have other Penn State players within like his top 3 rounds. We started to see, and he has started to talk about that. So make sure to pay attention to that because Steven is spot on when it comes to the different ones you should hear about and look forward to going forward. The other thing I wanted to do, since I messed that up, I guess this will be a good one to end up not messing up, but it's content worthy. So let's see if I can find this one. It's not this one. Bam. Have you seen this?
No. Ah, jeez. No, hold up. Okay. I know, I haven't seen this video, but I know where this is going.
So this is the uncle.
I can't wait.
This is the uncle. That's all you need to know. And he is reliving how good he knows that he really is with playing football. So he's in the street, so everyone knows what is in the street. Clearly, you see the things that are around, so you can assume what he's going to use as what he's going to truck. So we'll let it play.
Oh. Yo, my guy. First of all, what is that?
First off, he looks like Kevin Hart the first time I saw him. Second,
what is he? All right, what is my guy wearing? He's wearing the white tee. He's got like some like acid washed ripped jeans. Looks like he got some blue, maybe purple Air Force Ones on. Man, and doing, I don't know what that is.
I don't know why he did the spins like that twice.
Yeah,
like that wasn't needed.
I mean,
he wanted to do that. He caught it.
He's going the right. Yeah, well, and he's also going the right direction too. If he's like maybe doing like a pump and go, he's going the right direction. So he's spinning out. So that's good. But I don't know. The trash can seem unnecessary at that point.
He had the
and he's gonna be hurt too.
Oh, absolutely. Like he had the form with it. And I mean, he kept the ball. Yeah, and he was going to keep running. So I wanted to end up bringing that one up just because we were talking about football. And this is what they're going to look for Dotson to do when he gets into the league.
Yeah.
If you can do that. So,
Jeez, I
but
appreciate you.
Of course. So that's the first thing I wanted to bring up. The other thing I wanted to dive into the cryptocurrency stuff, just super fast. So a big thing before we do the cryptocurrency, if anybody pays attention, like finance and stocks, things of that nature, you know that the homie Jay Powell came out today. They had a meeting with the whole FOMC, so the Federal Committee, just to talk about what the future of the economy in the United States is going to be. The reason why this is so important is what happens in the United States doesn't just impact what goes on in the US, it'll affect what happens globally. Because a lot of different nations and countries either do use the US dollar, so that'll impact their countries, but then it also affects like the EU, it'll affect China and different places as to how they can continue to proceed going forward. So the big talk was the interest rates. So what did happen is Jay Powell did say that interest rates will not start to go up and they won't start the tapering until March. So it received mixed reviews. Some of the stocks did perform positively after that. One thing that you all can end up seeing here, if I can end up showing you guys this, is just what happened to Microsoft. So Microsoft had their earnings yesterday and they did do well. At first the stock went down, but then you saw that there was a gap fill. So what ended up happening is you can see if this loads. So the stock did perform well today. So it went up $8, which is 2%. And you can see during the middle of the day, that's when a lot of people started to end up considering what's happening with the news. So pay attention as we get closer to March. If they do say more things in terms of the news, you might see the stock start to pull off or drop down just because we're getting closer to interest rates when it's supposed to go up and stuff. Same thing with Tesla. Tesla had their earnings today. So Tesla performed well, but you almost have to exceed expectations during this market because of everything. And clearly the market and the people do not feel that it performed up to a standard. The big one that everyone knows about in terms of performance during this time of the year has been Netflix. So Netflix is doing well after hours, but the big drop, if I can find it for you guys, they did not live up to expectations last week when they had their earnings. The reason for that was because they said that their subscribers for this year would only increase by 2 million. And when you have competitors such as Disney, you have all these different platforms, Paramount Plus is out there, you have the Discovery and all that. So Hulu's with Disney. So that's why those two are together. But you have various different ones, HBO Max, you have Zeus, what Zeus does not a lot of people know about, but then you also have AMC. So you have all these different ones that are out there. So Netflix almost has to exceed expectations, but it's pulling from the pool from everybody. So I just wanted to end up bringing that up because that segues into what I'm going to talk about with cryptocurrency, because the meetings that Jay Powell and them do have, it affects a lot of things. So cryptocurrency to start did perform positively from it. It went up to around 38, 39,000 after it was sitting around 33 to 35,000. So that was something that was important. But like I told you guys time and time again, you'll know the market is going back positive when number 3 and number 5 are not sitting at number 3 and number 5 anymore. As long as these two stable coins are here, and as long as you have BUSD in the top 15, and then you also have Terra USD.
Yo, Shiba Inu, USD, let's go.
I know Shiba Inu's up there.
Let's go.
You have 4 stable coins in the top 20. Sorry, you have 5 stable coins in the top 20. And that just indicates how much money is really just going into stable coins because people aren't ready to necessarily put their money back into certain cryptocurrencies and they're waiting for the market to choose a direction. So all these different charts show the same exact thing. If you look at these charts and then you look at Bitcoin, they all have the same exact shape, reason being, because right now everything is correlated to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency as a whole is still correlated in a sense to the stock market. So if we were to end up looking at something such as like the SPY, which is what everyone ends up looking at, you will see that all the different markets look about the same. Bitcoin will have more sharper declines because it is more volatile, because it has less circulating supply compared to these other stocks, which have a higher outstanding share. amount. So that's the big thing over there. Back in cryptocurrency, I just wanted to explaining that. So number 3 and 5, Binance Coin is still up there. Ethereum is up there. The one I do want everyone to know and put on their radar, because it does come out tomorrow, and I've talked to a lot of people about it, is Elite Zero. So that one is probably not there, but it's going to be coming out tomorrow, and it will be on MEXC. So for everyone out there that is able to get MEXC Global, you can end up checking that out because it'll be in the innovation zone. And that's one that a lot of people should pay attention to. Again, this is not financial advice because I'm not a licensed financial advisor, but I will just want to put certain things. I just want to put certain things on your radar so that everyone can end up learning about it. Elite Zero is a layer 1 blockchain. So like everyone knows about Ethereum, Polkadot, you know about other ones such as Cosmos, so Atom, Avalanche, Phantom, and Solana. Those are all layer 1 blockchains. Elite Zero is one. And Elite Zero is one that I've been able to witness and see the speed of how fast it is and then the fees that come with it. So that's something that's very exciting. If it can go to exceed all the expectations that it does have, that could be one that is on a lot of people's radar. The other one is Panther Protocol, and Panther Protocol should have their token generation event towards the end of this week. So early next week, you should end up seeing Panther Protocol that's out there. So those are two that I'm very excited about. The next thing I just want to let everybody know about, because a lot of you probably have heard about this, if any of you either watch Jimmy Fallon's show or anything like that, you probably have heard of Bored Ape Yacht Club. So
I watched this video. Are you gonna show the Paris Hilton thing?
No, I'm not going to show it. I'm just going to show them what Bored Apes are. If I showed everyone that,
let me interrupt you real quick. I watched this video, and like my brain was melting because I had I now understand kind of like what you're saying because I've listened to you for however many months now. They weren't even talking about the same shit.
No,
I don't even know what they were talking about. And there was it's a live studio audience, and so they clap sometimes or whatever. Dead silent.
Yeah, they didn't.
No one knew what the hell was going on, and I was so it was like a 2-minute video, 2:30, and I'm like, dude, I just wasted of what it felt like an entire day watching that video because I was so damn angry at them for not making any damn sense with that.
So reason why it's so important and how they can talk about it, it doesn't really mean anything. For starters, these Bored Apes are not cheap. This is the cheapest Bored Ape that they're talking about in the collection, and it costs $232,000. That's what somebody is selling it for. So for everyone out there that thinks, oh, Jimmy Fallon and Paris Hilton were able to buy it, I can go on and get it. No, because these people are buying it at these stupid prices and they're not buying the cheap ones. They're buying ones, like Paris Hilton said, that matches her personality. And then Jimmy Fallon is buying one that seems a little bit like him with the hat and stuff on. And look at all of these are going for $230,000. Some have even sold for over $1 million. So this is what's on the Ethereum blockchain. Another thing is for anyone out there that thinks they can end up purchasing it, maybe you have the $232,000 to purchase one, there's gas fees. So the gas fees are going to cost you probably for something like this. It's going to be almost like $500 to $1,000. In fees just to be on the blockchain. So I brought this up because another blockchain that is doing NFTs that a lot of people have started to migrate over to is Solana. So this is OpenSea. OpenSea is with Ethereum. The big one here is Bored Ape Yacht Club. The other one that a lot of people are starting to talk about, and I mentioned this before because it was acquired by Nike, actually, is CloneX. So CloneX is now another branch in Nike, as everyone probably has heard, Jordan's under Nike now. Artifacts is under Nike. So Artifacts has created 18,000 of these, and they are listed. The lowest price one is 8.4. Earlier today, I did see the price. It was sitting at less than 7 ETH. So this is just for everyone out there that was wondering. So 8.4 ETH for this. And the biggest part about this, you're not just getting the NFT, they're making it into almost like The Sims-ish. So when I say that, you are going to get this, but then you might be able to buy a pod. So kind of like a home. Then you end up being able to buy the shoes. and other things like that. So the cheapest one is going for $21,000 right now. And that's the big thing over there, but maybe you can't afford these. So the other place where a lot of people are starting to migrate over to for NFTs is Solana's blockchain. And an important place is Magic Eden. So one that a lot of people have started to talk about is Botborgs. They just came out not too long ago. And Botborgs, these are various different ones. So 3 Solana is going to cost you around like $270. Very big difference. And then the fees are only going to be less than $10. So it's an extreme difference. You can afford these, whereas some people can't afford $21,000 for one. And a similar one to like the Bored Ape Yacht Club is the Degenerate Ape Academy. And so with the Degenerate Ape Academy, so it's 50 Sol. So let's just round up Solana to $100. That's sitting at around like $5,000. So it's a very big difference in terms of you getting one of these for 50 Sol. And it's about the same. This is one of the more popular ones that are on the Solana blockchain. There's another one that's coming out not too long from now. And when that one does come out, I'll let you guys know. It's similar to CloneX, and I'm trying to see if we can get them on the show or get another one of these different NFT projects on the show, because then they can explain it much better than I can, and then they can also go in depth as to why they're doing it. There is one that I have been in talks with that we're trying to see when our schedules can work out, because they're not based in the United States, so I have to work out the time difference with them. But this is another one for any of the Pokemon fans out there, is Bitmon Adventures. And you would end up being able to like have your own trainer. So right now, the floor price is 1.24 Solana. So they have like the different Bitmon trainers. They're trying to work out like a whole thing, whereas it'll be very similar to like the Pokemon games itself. So this is what Bitmon is. If you guys want to check out either of these, you can, but I just wanted to end up just diving into those really fast. While we're on this, I wanted to bring up the Brooklyn Nets because of the metaverse. So the Brooklyn Nets are the first team in the NBA that are going into the metaverse, and they're calling it the Netaverse, and they're going to try to have a lot of cameras around the whole arena. Right now, they're not doing live games. They're going to do recorded games. And it's a huge way, and I mentioned this to people before, the metaverse is a big way for people. Let's say you're in Asia, you'll never be able to see Kevin Durant or James Harden. Maybe if you have like an Oculus, or like when Apple comes out with their glasses, or Microsoft has their stuff, you can go into the games. You'll pay maybe $100 and be able to sit like courtside or something like that. It's not the same, but you'll be able to see the players run by you. You'll be able to get the same feel as with Drake or Spike Lee get to feel like every single day, but you don't have to pay the $15,000. So you won't be able to go into the locker rooms or dap them up like they do, but you'll be able to get a similar feel, and you'll be able to feel like you're in those type of games. So that's like the big thing when it comes to what the Nets are trying to do. It's going to take years for it to happen. They're starting out now with recorded, but hopefully in like 2 to 3 years, they can have the technology become better so that they can work towards those games. And another one that I'd love to see if it ever happened would be Oregon. So if the Oregon Ducks, their basketball team, could do it, if anyone out there knows what I'm talking about, you know how the court is, how they always have those different designs on the court. I would want to see those different types of teams pull off something like that. So that's the main thing there. Other thing I wanted to talk about is Mr. Vladimir Putin. So for 2 reasons. One, Vladimir Putin started moving troops into the Ukraine, which made the United States end up moving 8,500 troops closer to the Ukraine border, just in case like Vladimir Putin decides to do some crazy shit and says that, we just about to pop off because we've been in COVID too long, so we're trying to have a war. Big thing about that is certain stocks started to drop due to that. But what you'll start to notice, whenever it's about to come time for war, stocks such as like Raytheon, Northrop Grumman, Lockheed Martin are all going to go up. Reason why? Those are the defense companies. So pay attention to that in terms of war. Those companies will start to go up. They don't necessarily move a lot now. Some of them are based more so on like dividends and those different types of things. Boeing is another one that'll start to move. I brought that up because another thing that happened was missiles from a Yemen tribe were trying to hit the capital, Abu Dhabi. For everyone that knows, like Saudi Arabia, but thankfully the Saudi Arabian military caught it on the radar, and they were able to defuse it. And it was kind of like decent sized explosion in the air. It was like at 4:30 a.m. Big thing with that is their stock started to drop. So you're starting to hear about these different things. The thing I keep telling everybody is, as long as y'all don't poke the bear named Kim, we're fine. When you want to go poke Kim, then you got some real shit, because he don't play around the way you guys want to play around. But so that's the big thing over there. With that, I didn't really have anything else I wanted to touch on. Just want to let everyone know Microstrategy is still buying more Bitcoin. Reason being, they got to keep buying Bitcoin because they've taken out loans on Bitcoin. They just started buying Bitcoin. So what you gonna do? Keep buying Bitcoin. That's everything I had on this side. We'll swing it over into sports. And before we start with anything, I do want to just give a huge shout out to Ayuka Lee. She plays for Kansas State. She scored 61 points against Oklahoma, who's the number 14 team in the country. The big thing about that is she scored a lot, but not a lot of people know about it. I know about it, and like Steven probably knows about it because we follow so many people in sports that it's going to be on our timeline. But if this was like Joel Embiid when he scored 50, everybody knew about it. You didn't even have to watch sports, and you were going to see it on like ESPN and stuff. So what the WNBA and then the college women's basketball has to do, marketing is a big thing, but also continue to work on the product that's out there. Another thing is, I think it's the Washington Spirit. They just got another owner. This is women's soccer. Nobody really knows about it. I just know about it because I follow these different sports. And that was a big thing for them because they wanted an ownership change. But what they have to do is work towards figuring out how to be more marketable, put on a better product so that these things can continue to grow. So one, you guys can be profitable. Unlike in the bubble when the WNBA players were staying in a shithole and the NBA players were in luxury and Jimmy Butler was chilling with Rachel Nichols. That doesn't happen in the WNBA. But what are your thoughts on the points and everything?
Yeah, I mean, you and I knew about it because we, like you said, we follow the right people and we know, like, in the world of sports, you can't score that many points in a game and like not know about it. I mean, we see those high school kids who score 70, 80 points pretty much every year and we know about it. Might only be a day, but we know about it. But like no one else knows about it because like the women's game is just not something that people take interest of. And like that's the only time, and I was texting with somebody the other day about this, like and I don't want people to think that I'm like bashing women's basketball, right? Like I'm not. Like they're 10 times better basketball players than we are. But like it's not like no one watches the WNBA or women's basketball unless it is March Madness for women's basketball, or in the WNBA, like they need it to be like a buzzer beater, for it to even make the highlights. And you know, if they could all dunk, I'm sure there'd be a lot more guys that would watch women's basketball. I think that's why a lot of people watch. If you're not like a diehard locked in basketball fan and you're just like a casual sports fan watching the NBA, like you watch it because they're always dunking. And like, you know, it's like it's the same game every single night, but like you watch it because of those plays and you watch it because of those breakaway dunks, the oops, everything, you know. But in the women's game, there's like a 1 or 2 dunks a year and it's celebrated as like the best play in women's basketball history. So it's just not like a marketable thing, but like scoring 61 points, bro.
That's a lot. That's tough too.
And it's, I don't know what there
were no threes.
No threes?
She's a center.
Wait, she didn't hit a 3? You're kidding me. I did not know that part. She did not hit a 3.
What I looked up, that was not done by threes.
No way. Oh my God. That's incredible. That just means that whoever was guarding you ain't shit. And you were just eating them up and spitting them out. So yeah, I mean, 61 points is incredible no matter how you look at it. Whether it's the NBA or college ball, the WNBA, college ball, it doesn't matter. High school, it doesn't matter. 61 points is 61 points. So yeah, shout out to her.
So I'll just give you guys the stats.
How many
from
minutes
her.
did she play?
I don't see the minutes yet, but she was 23 of 30 from the field and 15 of 17 from the foul line. And she had 12 rebounds. And yeah, so she came into the game with a field goal percentage of 58.3%. You can't really tell me that any of that was threes.
Yo, I do want to give another shout out. Speaking of points, I want to give a shout out to Anthony Edwards for dropping 40 and having no assists. That's how you hoop, my friend. That's how you hoop. That's how you play hoops. You drop 40. You drop 40 and no assists. Even Kobe, when he was doing his thing, and shout out to RIP to Kobe. 2 years ago today, we lost Kobe Bryant. But
Kwame got even assists.
Even Kobe back in the day when he was dropping buckets on everybody for that stretch, my man was like dishing out 3 or 4 assists a game. But this man, Anthony Edwards, had 40 points, which is a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
40 points and no assists. That's crazy. That's just like Parks and Rec hoops right there.
Yeah. So you brought up crazy. And Steven's been on a roll recently. I will just say that with the tweets he ended up putting out, he's going to become famous at the rate he's going because he was talking about Barry Bonds. So give everyone a background story if you don't know who Barry Bonds is and his infamous holding of the bat before he always took a swing.
Okay, so Barry Bonds is the greatest greatest baseball player of all time. It doesn't matter what anybody says. It doesn't matter. You can pick Babe Ruth, Joe DiMaggio, anyone. Reggie Jackson, Hank Aaron. It doesn't matter. You can pick anybody in history. Barry Bonds. If you ask people who know the game, you ask them off the record so no one hears their answer because hang on. I gotta regroup on this one because this really pisses me off. So baseball is the weakest sport at like trying to preserve the purity of the sport.
They will
and
hold
baseball's
you
back. And baseball's been around for a minute. Okay. Baseball's been around for like 500 years. Okay. But like, it's like, if you're going to keep up with the times that we're in, which football and basketball, for as much as people dislike both those sports for whatever reason, they keep up with the times, whether it's like uniform changes, style of play, the flair, the dramatics, whatever. I know baseball has the flair and the dramatics, the bottom of the ninth walk-offs and everything like that. Like, that's fine. I've won that. You can't do that. But like, and like they had the whole steroid era, and bro, it wasn't just the names that you hear. Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, Barry Bonds, like those, like Alex Rodriguez, like those aren't just the names that took steroids. It wasn't just those like core guys that you heard all the time. It was a lot of players, and it went like not undetected, but like Bud Selig, the former commissioner of baseball, didn't do a damn thing about it until like 04, 05 when they started testing. So all those guys, 90, 98, 99, 2000, 2001, like that golden era of baseball. If that was happening today, like if baseball today was played like it was then, and there was like all these home run races, dudes hitting 50, 60, 70 home runs like Bonds did, bro, people would watch baseball all the time.
Hell yes.
If you, bro, just allow steroids in baseball. And secondly, the steroids, sure, like they make you bigger. Fine. Like they make you potentially heal quicker. Sure. But like it doesn't make you hit a baseball. Like it doesn't enhance your hand-eye coordination. Now, what it might do is give you the strength to hit it. Instead of hitting it to the warning track, you might get that extra 10 feet and hit it over the wall for home runs. Like that's whatever. There's science, and that's not whatever. But like it doesn't, like hitting a baseball is one of the hardest things to do in sports. Like every sport is hard to like for a number of different reasons, but hitting a baseball, that little object coming 90, 100 miles an hour from like less than 10 feet away is like, that's impossible almost. Barry Bonds is the greatest hitter of all time. This man has 7 MVPs. Okay. This man has 14
I didn't even
All-Stars.
realize that.
3-time Major League Player of the Year. 8-time Gold Glove. 12-time Silver Slugger. He has 762 home runs career, which is obviously number 1 all time. This man was intentionally walked with the bases loaded multiple times in his career. This dude was like, they were like, look, we'd rather potentially give up a game-winning hit to Joe Schmo than let Bonds hit a walk-off grand slam.
They did not want to be that person.
No one wanted to hit to him because he was so good. He was the most feared hitter in baseball for the longest time. And like, I get it. Like, cheating isn't good, right? And no matter what you do, cheating is not a good thing. And if you get caught, then you're basically exiled to an island by yourself, which a lot of these guys in sports have been. But Bonds, like, you can't tell the history. You can't talk about the history of baseball without mentioning Barry Bonds. It just can't happen because he has 700 plus home runs. And this man was dominant for the longest time. Like, and he just kept winning MVPs. Like, if baseball didn't like Barry Bonds, they wouldn't have made him the MVP 7 times. They would have. And first of all, he was also winning MVPs before all the steroid talk. He was winning MVPs in Pittsburgh when he played for the Pirates or to start his career. So this man,
Steven likes him.
Yeah, this man's been like, I mean, it's just, and to kind of go back to the beginning of the story today, yesterday, the Hall of Fame voters voted to not put Bonds in, along with Roger Clemens. It was their final year in the ballot, so they have to go through another process of other voters who probably aren't going to put them in, but nonetheless, they have one more chance, I believe. And then David Ortiz, former Boston Red Sox great, was a first ballot Hall of Famer. I have a problem with that as well. I have a problem with a lot of things. So Ortiz was
that whole team is going to get in before Bonds gets in.
Yeah, for sure. There was the Mitchell report came out like mid to late 2000s, and it mentioned all these players who I'm sure there were players who had who probably weren't even playing baseball at the time that were mentioned in this report. There were just dozens and dozens of players, and David Ortiz is mentioned as in this Mitchell report as a guy who had positive tests along the way, and that kind of I don't want to say it followed him because, there was a lot that came out afterwards that wasn't correct, but like, nonetheless, if you're associated, and people say, like, if you're associated with the people who are the purest of pure baseball fans and voters and writers and whatnot, all of them say, if you're linked to steroids in any way, whether you test positive or not, or never test at all, that's strike 1, 2, and 3, because they try and preserve the purity of the game and shit like that. But, yeah, Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame. There's no question about it. Again, you can't tell the history of baseball without mentioning Barry Bonds. Roger Clemens is on that list too. He's not as high up on that list as Bonds is, but that's what really pisses me off. And I've been tweeting about it for like days now. Yeah. And it's just like ridiculous. But yeah, Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame. David Ortiz, first ballot, no, but like Hall of Famer, yes. But again, if you're linked to steroids, you shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, I guess is what people say. So David Ortiz should be out too. But moral of the story is Barry Bonds should be a Hall of Famer. So thank you.
Only thing I will say with David Ortiz, I will say that MLB Hall of Fame, part of it, like all Hall of Fames, are popularity contests. Some of it is.
Yeah, he's in the media now.
Yeah, David Ortiz is probably one of the most loved Boston Red Sox players. Like, Manny Ramirez does not get the same love that David Ortiz does. And it might just be a big person thing too, because look at all the big players and Kung Panda out there who plays for the San Francisco Giants. I don't know. I remember that era growing up when it was the Giambies, when it was Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, and Barry Bonds, and Ken Griffey Jr. They're proving a point. That's the big thing. I do find, and I do believe that sometime, maybe in the near distant future, Barry Bonds is going to get in through some random miraculous way. It's impossible if they're giving him the record still, although it's an asterisk, for him not to randomly get in, because you're going to go tell your kids down the line, you know what? The greatest home run hitter ever is not in the Hall of Fame. What? That doesn't make sense. So I think that it will end up happening. I always think back to that era because I remember when the reports came out, like what grade I was in and everything. Then when like Roger Clemens was also in that list too, it was like shit, like the whole world.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
you're like as soon as those reports came out, you're like, ugh, like
all of them,
damn.
like damn,
It's
like
like
my whole baseball life.
yeah, it's like when like an athlete who is doing so well, playing at the highest level, they seem to be very clean and whatnot. Like Tiger Woods, when that should happen. And you're just like, oh
Gilbert Arenas with the
man.
guns.
Yes. And you're like, oh, come on. Like we were doing so well. Like
Yeah.
everything was Gucci. We were riding high, and then shit happens. But like it sucks, like you were just saying, like, you know, like Mason, my son, is not gonna know, like by the time he's old enough to, you know who Barry Bonds is and like understand baseball and whatnot, they're probably gonna either he's gonna be in the Hall of Fame or they're gonna just wipe him out completely. You know, so it's like it's gonna be our job to keep his legacy going. And you know, if Mason chooses baseball, or like even if he doesn't choose baseball and just loves sports, which hopefully he does, like we're gonna sit down and we're gonna watch YouTube highlights of Barry Bonds for sure. Much like we'll do of every athlete.
The biggest thing, and then I'll switch on to the next sport. I'll never forget Barry Bonds. When first off, I'm biased because Barry Bonds was a left-handed hitter, which made it even better. But my man had the two-tone bat, and he swung so hard in his practice. Like this man would just be shaking the bat the whole time. I was like, shit, it was gone.
This man stood right on the plate too, and he had the cross earring and everything. I mean, yeah, like he looked like he gained weight over time from like the time he came in the league. But like, bro, when I started high school or when I started college, yeah, I was about 40-50 pounds lighter than I am now. So like, yeah, that happens to all of us. Like, I mean, again, people can go deep into this, and they have, and they will every year when this subject comes up, like how Barry Bonds shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. But again, if you're going to tell the history of baseball, you can't tell it without mentioning Barry Bonds. And that's it. As simple as that.
So I'm gonna switch over into basketball because some big things happen, and then we have a lot to talk about football. But quick thoughts on Anthony Davis's return.
I think he looked good. Did you watch the game last night?
I watched parts of it.
I watched the whole thing. Mm-hmm. The Lakers, I know the Nets were shorthanded, to say the least.
The Lakers had 8 turnovers and Westbrook had 5. You do the math.
Yeah. Okay. Look, hater. I mean, don't hate the player, hate the game. But I know the Nets were shorthanded. They only had James Harden of their big 3. Kyrie's not playing home games, obviously, and KD is out until after the All-Star break, which sucks. But like nonetheless, you still gotta go out, play the game. You still gotta go out, execute your plays, play defense, all that kind of good shit. Rebound. The Lakers defense was like good to great for like multiple possessions in a row. And AD looked good. There's a lot of plays in the beginning of the game where you could tell he was maybe like testing it out to see how the knee was going to hold up. No surgery or anything, before, but get a handful of blocks. I think he had 10 points or so, maybe. They kept his minutes down, obviously, and they probably will for their I would probably at least until All-Star break, until he's kind of gotten the groove of things. But there was a play. LeBron had 2 breakaway dunks back to back. I don't know if you saw those.
Yeah, I saw that.
The first one where he did like his partial like sideways windmill. That was Jay Hill texted me. That was the first time that it looked like LeBron had lost a step, because this man was not like, he barely was off the ground. Like
he was like, close to the rim.
And it wasn't like this. It was more like a half-ass thing. Yeah. His next one, he got off the ground a little bit more, but dropped 33 last night. I'll say this, and then you can keep going. He's either going to pass Kareem on the all-time scoring list, either at the end of the season, if he keeps averaging 29, potentially 30 a game, he'll pass him before the season's up, or he'll pass him within like the first handful of games next season, which like no one's talking about. People know it's going to happen, but like it's going to happen very soon. and it's gonna be dope.
LeBron to number one that fast.
Yeah, he's only like 900 some odd points back. I think.
Really?
Give or
He's
take.
number
Give or
two?
take. No, he's number 3 right now, but he's only a handful he's like 2,000 some odd points away from breaking Kareem, which like I did the math obviously before the season. And if he stayed healthy and kept playing games, he'd have to average like 24 or 25 points a game and play another 2 or 3 seasons of like full, maybe 70 games. But since he's balling out this year and averaging 29 points a game and putting up 30, 35, occasionally, he's like, it's going to happen soon. And I did the math. It all checks out. Don't worry. So it's going to happen soon. And people need to start talking about it because people thought it was
my accountant.
Yeah. People thought it was going to be, people thought that record was maybe never going to be broken or like not anytime soon. And people damn sure didn't think it was going to be broken by LeBron. So shout out to King James.
Yeah. I really think that 4 of the top 5 spots are going to be rearranged. If KD can stay healthy, Steph can continue to shoot the way he's shooting. I think 3 of those spots can be the new school players. That's the big thing I wanted to talk about there. You mentioned James Harden at one point. What are your thoughts on James Harden's feelings towards Kyrie not playing every single game and also him entering free agency?
I think if they win a championship this year, it won't matter. And like he'll probably bounce. I think he just really wants to win a title. And obviously coming to Brooklyn was going to be his best chance.
That's not James Harden. That's not his place. Like all players have like their place where, this is where I vibe. Houston was kind of his place. It wasn't that limelight place. So I don't think James is going to be there long term.
I think also because he was like by far the best player on those teams and he was cooking everybody. Yeah. He was averaging like 30 something points, like two or 3 seasons in a row. So I think coming to Brooklyn now, like, again, he knows that this is his best chance to win a title. So it's got to be frustrating. Like Durant's out, it's again, same thing kind of like with AD, there's no surgery involved, but he's going to be out for a while. Probably they're holding him out until he's 100% ready to go and ready for the playoffs. And then who the hell knows what Kyrie's doing. So it's like, damn, like I come here, like these 2 guys are locked and loaded and we're ready to make a run. And it, could have happened last year if Kyrie doesn't get hurt against the Bucks, or if Durant's big ass foot doesn't get on the 3-point line, they might have won that game. Who knows? But he comes in like I said, ready to lock and load. Let's go. Let's get to the finals. Let's win. And then all this shit's happening. And it's like, damn, like that sucks. I think if they end up winning a title, which I don't think they will, but if they end up winning a title, I think he bounces. I think if they don't win a title, I think there's a good chance he stays one more season. Potentially a couple, because KD is still like relatively young if he stays healthy. And Kyrie obviously has his issues, but like still young, still one of the best guards in the league. So if they win, I think he's gone though.
Yeah.
And he'll try and be the guy again.
So the final story I wanted to bring up was Paul George. I mentioned this before. I personally thought for a minute Paul George is just going to be shut down for the season, which will lead to Kawhi Leonard probably being shut down for a longer term. They're mulling the options now with like Paul George doing surgery and stuff like that on his shoulder, elbow, all that stuff. So we'll end up seeing like how that goes forward. If you listen here, I'm just going to continue saying they're not playing. Like they're kind of just shutting down this season. There's no reason in rushing it. So football, that's the big one that we want to talk about. So before we get into the games, what are your thoughts on the 3 retirement / who knows what's going to happen? So Sean Payton, what are your thoughts on that one?
I'm not really a big Sean Payton fan. I think he's a really good coach. But I don't want to word this.
He didn't want to be there because he saw 1 year without Drew Brees. He was going to have Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston. I would be leaving too.
Well, he also comes off kind of douchey, I think, sometimes as well. I don't want to say that, but like, whatever. I'm just not a big fan. I've just never been a fan of the Saints. I like Drew Brees, but like, never been a Saints fan. Like, I'm not a really big Yeah, it's not a big Sean Payton fan, so he probably won't retire. He's still in coaching world. He's still relatively young, so he'll probably find a head coaching job somewhere. I don't think he'll go be a coordinator though. I think he's got
need that head coach.
He's got to be a head coach. He might take a year off and come back, but I think he'll probably still be a head coach somewhere.
Do you think Brady or Gronk
in the NFL? In the NFL, I think if Brady retires, Gronk retires.
Yeah.
I think if Brady stays, Gronk retires. I think no matter what, Gronk is done, bro. Like he is so beat up.
He is.
I mean, he can still move and he's still a beast, but dude, he is so beat up. I can't even. I mean, and he was looking slim when he was in retirement the first time. Like he was looking pretty slim. Yeah, he put that weight back on, that 255-pound frame of his, being 6'6", 6'7", whatever, and taking a beating. Especially after Chris Godwin went down and the whole AB thing, he was, getting a lot more targets and whatnot. So he's just taking even a bigger beating. So I think even if Brady, whatever Brady does, I think Gronk is done. I think he got his ring. He got one more ring. Got his millie. So I think, I think he's done.
So the other story I want to talk about, Steven brought this up, Trent Williams. So give everyone an overview of what happened.
Be quiet, Christian. Okay. So this is one of like the coolest things that I've seen in sports. So watching the Packers Niners game with my brother-in-law BJ, right? Trent Williams. Okay, let me just lay down who this man is. This is the all-pro left tackle from the San Francisco 49ers, former first-round pick of the Washington football team, then Washington Redskins, bunch of time Pro Bowl. Like, he's been one of the most dominant left tackles in the league since he came in from Oklahoma. So this man is 6'5", 6'6", 325 pounds, right? And I've seen him in person, like about 5 feet away from me. And he's a grizzly bear of a human, like just one of the largest dudes I've ever seen in my life, right? And he's super athletic, obviously, and he's fast, he's quick. And for those who don't really follow, the NFL like I do and like Christian does, the 40-yard dash is what everyone loves to see. Like what's your 40 time? Like if you're asking an NFL player or football player in general, like what's your 40 time? And everyone always lies about it. But for offensive linemen, no one cares about your 40 yards. They care about that 10-yard split. And that's like the biggest thing, because if you're getting going on a screen pass or whatever, like you need to have like that little burst to get out and get the linebackers or whoever you're blocking. Just a little football breakdown for everybody right there. So Trent Williams, it was a fourth and one for the Niners. They might have been the first half of the game. They lined Trent Williams up as a fullback type of thing. And usually if a fullback or a tight end, H-back goes in motion, they'll kind of run, like, maybe not run, but like jog like a yard and then like turn and shuffle their feet so they're parallel with the line of scrimmage or with the offensive line. This man, I'm sure when this play came in, his eyes lit up. He went Hulk mode. This man, I wish we had the video ready to go. He turned and just took off. Like before the play was even snapped. There's no way. There's absolutely no way that what he did was a legal play. No way. Like he did it. You can't do this. Like I said, 6'5", 6'6", 325 pounds, and you're going to send him in motion, let him go full speed to block whoever's on the end. And if I was, the outside linebacker or like corner or safety on like the end of the line of scrimmage, ready to blitz on this fourth. Look at this. Yes. Watch this. Can you go back to there you go. Watch this. Look at this man. Look how big he is. Look how large he is, and just takes out 6 people, 7 people. Dude, that was a 4th and 1. Like that play should, like normal plays, that should be stopped. Look at this man. Look at him go.
Yeah.
And if I was that guy on the end of the line of scrimmage, damn. I can't see what number that guy is. 52. The guy who went down first, 52. If I was 52 and I like looked down the line of scrimmage and I saw Trent Williams standing there and I see him start to running, I'm calling timeout ASAP. I'm like, coach, you gotta get me off the field. That's a business decision, is what they call it. Like, dude, I was, and like Joe Buck and Troy Aikman didn't say anything about it right away because I don't think they could believe what they saw. But and then people started tweeting about it once the video came out. Oh man, I loved every second of that. This big dude just getting out and moving. It wasn't like what he did. It was more so like, yo, this man just ran like the fastest that he's ran in a long ass time, probably, and just had like the time of his life, taking out half the defense. Mm-hmm. So shout out to Trent Williams on that one.
That is something that everyone can't do. Like, you could put a lot of people at that tackle position or in that tight end H-back position. They're not going to do it the same way. And the fact that he only per se hit 2 people, but he affected at least 7 people around, because you saw the one he hit, it made the other person fall, and then it just kept going. And that's why the 49ers run game is so good. You have Trent Williams on that side, and then it allows the other guards and tackles to do what they need to do, and Trent Williams can hold his own over there. So that's the thing I wanted to bring up with those. We're going to real quickly talk about the games that happened last week, because one in particular really pissed me off because I had a whole thing of what was going to happen. But we talked about the 49ers Packers. So what are your thoughts on Rams Bucks?
I didn't see that coming. I didn't see the Rams getting out to the start that they did. And their defense, man, like it just seemed like they had a lot more energy on Saturday. I don't know if it was the weather or whatever. They were playing Tom Brady, probably a whole bunch of things. But Aaron Donald, Von Miller both had a shit ton of energy, and they were just ready to go. I mean, now the Bucks obviously made a comeback, and like we always get, these are always like the prisoner of the moment things that we talk about in sports. But like
Brady's just good.
Like that doesn't apply to what happened this weekend in the NFL. Like that was arguably, if not the best weekend of football that like I've ever seen. And I kept trying to like think back, like I don't know, like I take pride like understanding the history of the game, like knowing it, but like I don't remember every divisional round that the NFL's ever had. But like that was bonkers that whole weekend. Every game was great for multiple reasons. Like Joe Burrow was sacked. We'll get into it, but Joe Burrow was sacked 9 times, and they still won because all he did was make plays at the end. It doesn't matter. You can get sacked 20 times if you make that 1 or 2 throws, which he did. He made that 1 throw to Jamar Chase. That's all that matters. That's all you need.
Each of these games had a reason why the game was lost. In the 49ers Packers one, you just didn't really have the right defense. In terms of, you let Jimmy G, and there's so many jokes out there you could see about Jimmy Garoppolo. First off, they didn't even want the man, and the man is still winning. So that's that game. In terms of the Bengals-Titans game, Ryan Tannehill showed you why they depend so much on Derrick Henry.
Bro, what
3 interceptions?
Bro, what
my man's was going anywhere.
What did I tell you at the beginning of the year? And we were talking about all these quarterbacks and shit, and I said, it's like, do I trust Ryan Tannehill? The answer is no. No. I told you, like, there's only a handful of quarterbacks in the league that I trust. And Ryan Tannehill is not one of those handful of quarterbacks that I trust. So, like, yeah.
And he's impacting how good A.J. Brown and Julio Jones could be. Because you didn't hear that much about Julio in that game. A.J. Brown was making good catches, but Ryan Tannehill can't throw to but so many people.
Well, and also at the end, in the end, I was confused. Like, the clock was running. The man drops back, and they're on their own, like, 30. And he throws it into almost triple coverage. What are you doing?
Yeah, I know. Exactly.
What are you doing? Like, there's no need for that. Like, you got to throw it to the sideline, or you got to throw it short so the guys can get out of bounds. Or, like, if he drops it, it's nowhere near a defender. He was like, oh, sure, I'll just throw it to Julio or whoever it was.
Just get in there, hopefully. So the game we have to talk about, and I'm going to start this one off because it annoyed me so much, the Bills and Chiefs. Mm-hmm. I think this game, so the levels, it just kept going up every single game as to how good the games were. And then the Bills and Chiefs game, because everyone knew I talked about the Bills every single week. I hardly talked about the Eagles, although that was my team, but it was the Bills. Like, how much I really like Josh Allen, how well they can do. They started running the ball more, Devin Singletary. They had Stephon Diggs, but Gabriel Davis had the game of his life. Like, that was the game, and they just always had him open at certain spots. I remember even the deep touchdown, Josh Allen said, Do I throw it to Sanders? Do I throw it to Beasley? Stephon, like, fuck it, Davis. Just threw it up there and knew that his guy was going to get it over the others. So now you know who the number 2 receiver is going to be. You have your third down receiver in Beasley. You have Diggs, who's your go-to. But Gabriel Davis throughout this year has showed you what he can do. And my man, some of his touchdowns, he said, I'm just going to fall with the ball. Like, it hit him, and he said, I'm just going down with it.
And he put that 1-2 on that corner.
He did.
Whoa. It looked like someone said it looked like he got pushed.
It did.
Like he just went back.
So good.
And he was open. Yeah, that game was not lost by Josh Allen, by the way. Like that was lost. That was just bad coaching at the end. Like bad defense. You're playing prevent defense from their 20, like their own 25.
Why are you guarding the sidelines? They have 2 timeouts, so it doesn't matter.
There's no reason to play prevent defense. Like make them do that. And then the kickoff, which this didn't even dawn on me until afterwards. Why kick it deep?
Yeah,
kick it on the ground or like pooch it. So you get someone, sure, like you risk them running it back for a touchdown, but like you also can take off. That's not likely in that situation. But you also take off 2, maybe 3 seconds. If you kick it on the ground,
makes a difference.
And then they only got about 1 play to really get into field goal range. So you change the game completely like that. But I think everyone knows how good, if not potentially great, Josh Allen is. And I don't want like coming out party is a little like maybe not that because we know
out there. Yeah.
But like this was one of those games where like, okay, like we've kind of been waiting. Like they didn't win the game, but like you kind of just been waiting to see him on full display.
Yes.
And just like he did it, pretty well against the Pats. But like this was that game that like you want to see him against arguably the best quarterback or one of the 2 or 3 best quarterbacks in the league. Guy who's going to be now hosting 4 straight AFC Championship games. So, we needed to see Josh Allen do his thing and go, yeah, my guy did his thing in the 4th quarter and lit that shit up. Like
Josh Allen, bro. Yeah,
and
Josh
he was throwing
Allen
dimes. Yeah.
The fact that I'll talk about Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. So Josh Allen, he ran too. He knew, all right, I can't just throw it every single time.
Mm-hmm.
And talk about another person that's beat up. Gronk is beat up. I can promise you, Josh Allen was like, God damn, like
Harden.
I gave everything. What else
Harden,
can I give? And those are the reasons why I always made the comparison of he's damn near the exact same as Ben Roethlisberger. Difference is he can run. They have to have those big bodies because they know they're going to take those hits. In terms of the Chiefs, they're just good. Like that offense is just really good. We were talking about it. My man was 2 yards behind the defender, and Tyreek Hill was like, I got this. His team knew he had it. They were celebrating when he got the ball.
Yeah.
And I was like,
it sucks. Damn. It sucks that like I think the Bills played better at times, but like the Chiefs are just that good, man. Like they're just like that top dog now. I know, like, it's probably gonna be that way for a while because they're gonna have Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill for a minute. So and Mahomes is locked up, obviously. So yeah, they're gonna be that team for a hot second. So it sucks like the Bills had to play that good or that great and they still lost. So like you gotta, but it also adds fuel to the fire because you gotta bring it now 10 times what you did. So
I think the Bills window
really help the Bills.
Closing. They only have maybe 1 or 2 years left. I don't know how much longer because in this window, it's kind of like when the Warriors kept winning and the other teams around them, it's like, damn, we have to try and beat them. Just like the Pistons going against like the Bulls and the Celtics in those times. Your window is like right here. Like the Bills maybe add 1 piece or 2 pieces because there's other teams that are getting better. The Patriots are not going to chill out like that for but so long. And then you have other teams that are coming. The Rams, if they can find a way to continue to build this team, they're going to be up there. Cooper Kupp, shout out to his wife for holding him down. Like these teams are going to continue to build. So the Bills right now is their time frame. They're top dog in the AFC East. What are they going to do? You just need to get past the Chiefs. And I was telling Steven this year, if they would have beat the Chiefs, I firmly believe they could have probably won the championship. Mm-hmm. And I was talking to a lot of people about that because look at the NFC. Rodgers is gone. Brady is on his last legs. He's out. The Rams, are you really going to trust Matthew Stafford that long? Like Matthew Stafford will throw it. He has Cooper Kupp and OBJ, but it's one of those that the Bills could work against the Rams if you can beat the Chiefs. So that was my thought process behind it. And now we only have Joe Burrow to stop us from Jackson Mahomes.
Yeah.
So
Jackson Mahomes, shout out, that little schmuck.
That's everything for today. What you got for everyone?
Shout out to Barry Bonds, man. Like shout out to. Wait, are we doing game picks?
Yeah. So we'll do game picks, but that was a shout out. He'll get more time in a second. So Chiefs Bengals, who you got? You know, it's real funny that Steven brought up the game picks after how the year has gone.
Yeah, bro. Like, I mean, I got, the playoffs are when it matters most.
At least he got one right last week. I didn't get any right.
Shout out to me. Ooh, Chiefs and Bengals. I'm gonna go Chiefs. I think the Bengals they're there, but they're just not quite at that level yet. I'm gonna go Chiefs, especially at home. And Arrowhead's gonna be loud as shit.
Rocking after what Joe Burrow said.
Especially after what Joe Burrow said, which come to State College on a Saturday for a whiteout, and we'll talk about loud. So shout out.
So I have the Chiefs in that one. I mean, the Bengals are not at that point yet. They have a second-year quarterback and then a rookie wide receiver who is elite, but I feel as though the Chiefs can do it. 49ers Rams. This is going to be a chill-ass game.
I'm going with the Rams. I love the way their defense is playing. I think the Bucks weren't like the best team in the league, but I think now the Rams all right, we knocked out those jokers. Yeah, we can beat it. It don't matter.
So I got the Rams in this one. I think LA will be a party time if they can beat the 49ers every single day. And this is what America and probably a lot of the world wanted to see. You wanted the Chiefs to get there. Then you saw them building a dream team in Los Angeles. All the LA teams, they want to try and find a way to win. The Kings, the Lakers, the Dodgers, now the Rams. So
I will tell you that I am 100% pulling for the Rams because I want to see Matthew Stafford win a Super Bowl before his career is over.
That'd be amazing.
I'm not just saying that. I also want a reason to wear this jersey again because I haven't worn this jersey since the Pats played the Rams in 2001. That's how old this jersey is. And this I got this for we talked about this before last week. We all went to that jersey collection phase.
Yeah,
we all got our jerseys. So I'm pulling for Stafford.
So I have the Rams in this one. Like Steven, I want Odell Beckham to end up getting there, especially all the shit that he had to deal with in Cleveland and them saying he was washed, and he's showing them he's not. And then I feel bad.
Shout out Eric Weddle.
Yeah, this man came back to the playoffs and is my God, and just want to go throw himself around. But that's a team that they have there. The big thing is I really do hope that the Rams can end up pulling it off, especially Matthew Stafford, all that he had to deal with, and then OBJ. Cam Akers is the thing I wanted to end up mentioning because if you believe in karma, if you don't, well, karma happened in that game because my man said 2 fumbles.
He's gonna have 25 carries, $165, and 3 touchdowns this weekend. That's how the football. Who are they gonna play? Sony Michel? Yeah. my guy. Yes, sir.
Because he had 2 fumbles. I believed in this man to take them next year too. I'm like, damn, you had a fumble in the most important seconds of the game. So I have the Rams in that one. Right now, Steve and I are looking at Chiefs and Rams, and then right before the Super Bowl happens, we'll end up making our game picks on that one because that'll be a big one. But what you got for the people outside of Barry Bonds?
Shout out to Penn State football, man. We're fucking killing it right now, recruiting wise. I said earlier that a lot of the ranking sites came out with the final rankings for the class of 2022. Penn State's got 3 5-stars. We got a quarterback of the future, a running back of the future. We got our defensive player of the future. So hopefully things are heading in the right direction. But shout out to Coach Franklin and the boys. Oh, Coach Franklin was just visiting Jay Hill the other day. Made a stop at Trinity High School. So shout out to Coach Franklin. But Yeah, Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame. Thanks.
Shout out.
Appreciate
So mine are going to be.
Shout out to Freddie Mac real quick too. Shout out. Shout out to the boys.
Mine are on two different sides. The first one is actually a shout out to Steven, because so now everyone knows I'm in like finance and doing the numbers, and I see like damn near how much everybody in the world makes at this place and like other things. I'm like, damn, Steven has 2 kids and a dog. Like that is a lot. Now I understand why they have fathers.
Yo, I don't have a dog anymore. I didn't tell you?
No.
Oh man, we got to get rid of the dog. Because Mason's allergic to dogs.
I knew
he's got severe, and he's got severe asthma now, which is like, that's some bullshit. So the allergist said, only thing we can do, like literally the only thing we can do is get rid of the dog. So we had to get rid of the dog. It was either like get rid of Mason or get rid of the dog. So we got rid of the dog. That's basically it. They're like, yo, choose either your boy or the dog. So I chose the boy. Shout out.
So
shout out to my homie.
That's why I wanted to give a shout out to Steven, because raising a family is tough. It's not easy out here. And then you just look at how everything is getting more expensive and stuff like that. So that's my first shout out. The other shout out, Steven will find this funny. So I've been starting to go to like coffee shops and stuff to end up doing my work, things of that nature. And not going to say who the person is. I started like watching the show and stuff. So whoever this person is, you'll know who you are by this. But I have a Dell computer for my job, Dell laptop. And then this other person who I saw at the coffee shop, they informed me that they have a MacBook. And they said that they believe that my Dell laptop cost more than their older MacBook. And I thought that was, and all I could say is, stop with these damn reindeer games, because there ain't no way in hell.
Nope. No, sir. No, sir.
So
no.
That's all I got for the people. We'll be back next week with new things. I'll update you guys in the crypto and stocks world, and then we'll come back after the sports. Then I'm talking about those. Maybe someone else will go off for like 60, 70 points, or Jason Tatum will hit like 50 points again. By the way, for everyone out there, I selected Ja Morant to take the place at Dame Dollar.
Oh yeah. We'll have the update on that next week.
Yeah, we shouldn't do that for like 6 weeks because KD out. But we'll do it next week. So I'll catch you guys. We out.
Peace.